Welcome back to The Takeout. We are following the latest developments on the escalating war with Iran as sources tell CBS News that Russia is providing Iran with intelligence about the United States military. Former Michigan Republican Congressman Peter Meijer joins me now. He is also an Iraq war veteran. Congressman, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. I want to start with something that the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, said on Wednesday when he was asked what is his message for China and Russia, both of which have obviously been condemning this war. Here's what he said.
I don't have a message for them, and they're not really a factor here. And our issue is not with them. It's with the nuclear ambitions of Iran.
Congressman, do you agree with the Secretary that they're not really a factor here?
I mean, I think it's important, and Secretary Hegseth said this clearly, to not try to involve China and Russia in this war, to try to isolate and eliminate the threat that Iran poses by itself. Part of the reason why we are focused on Iran and why Iran is so dangerous is obviously the ballistic missiles, obviously the threat of them attaining a nuclear weapon, but also in the potential for a future conflict for them to be on the side of Russia and China. Removing them from the chessboard the same way that we did with Venezuela, ensuring that they cannot laterally escalate any threat or any conflict that may occur in the Pacific. You know, that is important. So I think it's strong and sensible for the Secretary of Defense to say that. Now, at the same time, the fact you're removing a piece from their chessboard means that China is concerned, means that Russia not only sees this as weakening their alliance, weakening their allies, but also an opportunity to mire the U.S. in the same type of challenge and conflict that Russia has found itself in Ukraine. So we should separate these in terms of our tactical objectives, but there is certainly a strong strategic undercurrent.
And can you help our viewers understand what it means that Russia is sharing intelligence with Iran? How could that help Iran in this war?
Oh, it clearly gives Iran capabilities and a sophistication of intelligence that they lack. Iran is not an unsophisticated adversary. I mean, you have seen that in their ability to deploy weaponry, to even spread chaos throughout the region, up to and including the arrest of Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps cells in Azerbaijan, in the United Kingdom, and in Bahrain. That have just occurred in the past 24 hours. But Iran does not have access to the type of satellite capability. They don't have access to the type of signals intelligence capability that Russia can bring to bear. And so obviously that is something that we should be taking very seriously, that we should be countering, and that we should be pushing back with vigorously, while at the same time maintaining that distinction that we do not want to mix these streams. We do not want to get to the point where Russia is tempted to be supporting the Iranians in a more overt and concrete way.
And Congressman, you've also warned that this war puts us at risk here on American soil. Why?
This was always the fallback plan for the regime. You know, number one was to sow chaos in the region if they were threatened, and we have seen that. Number two was to try to attack U.S. and Western targets outside of the region. We have not necessarily seen that yet. Obviously, you had the tragic shooting in Austin. Whether that was sympathetic or actually directed has not been established. But the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and their intelligence assets, they have cased locations within the United States for potential attack. They have a track record of attacking Western and specifically Israeli targets in the past. And one of their alleged operatives is on trial right now, today, for the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. So this is certainly a threat that should be taken seriously. It's something that I think our FBI and our joint terrorism task forces are well aware of. But if ever there is a moment where if you see something, you should be saying something, it's today.
And speaking of that regime, the president says he wants to have a role in picking the nation's next leader. How do you assess that?
This is part of the administration's strategy of decapitate and delegate. Obviously, Venezuela was the clearest example of that, and we've learned from the regime change wars of the past, especially the de-Baathification and the disbanding of the Iraqi military after the 2003 invasion. That causes chaos. You want to try to work with the power structures that are in play. And obviously, you know, we are the dominant military power in that region. The Trump administration is taking this initiative, and this is another way of asserting that we will not just return back to to the status quo that we had just 1 week ago, but that this is time for a new direction for the country of Iran.
And President Trump has made that point very clear. Thank you so much, former Congressman Peter Meijer, for your time today.
Thank you for having me on.